Welcome back, learner. Yes, you. It is Wednesday, March 4, 2026. And today we have a deep dive that is honestly going to completely reframe how you think about the future of work, entrepreneurship, and, really the entire global economy.
It really is a massive paradigm shift. And what we're looking at today isn't some speculative op-ed or a futuristic think piece. We actually got our hands on a highly confidential internal product specification and go-to-market framework. It's dated February 2026.
Yeah, it's for a platform called the EON Venture Builder. And our mission for this deep dive is to explore how two massive colliding global trends are about to birth an entirely new economic class of workers. We're going to help you understand this monumental shift from the old world of writing code to the new world of, well, writing specifications. Okay, let's unpack this.
To really understand the sheer scale of the solution EON is building, we first have to fully grasp the problem they're addressing. The framework opens with a deeply sobering statistic from the World Economic Forum. They estimate that 85 million jobs will be displaced by 2030 due to AI and robotics.
85 million. And what stands out in the internal data is that this isn't isolated to just one sector. We used to think physical labor would be automated first, leaving knowledge work safe. But instead,
White-collar jobs are being rapidly swallowed up by AI systems that handle analysis, writing, complex decision-making, all of it. Meanwhile, blue-collar jobs are also vanishing as physical robotics advance. EON's strategy specifically notes how incredibly dangerous this massive wave of unemployment is for social stability, particularly in the global south, where formal employment is already scarce.
right, and that massive job displacement is the first trend. But the second trend is this crazy paradox that makes this exact moment in history so unique. At the exact same time that traditional jobs are disappearing, the cost of building complex software has plummeted to near zero.
It really has.
I was trying to wrap my head around the numbers they provided. EON internal metrics show that an enterprise-grade application, something that would cost, $50,000 to $500,000 in developer time and UI design just 2 years ago,
Right.
that can now be done in mere hours. Tools like Claude Code and OpenFlow are instantly outputting production-ready applications.
Which leads to the core insight of this entire confidential framework. The bottleneck in the technology sector is no longer engineering. If you think about it, the hardest part of building a successful business was actually never writing the code itself.
Right. The hard part is the specification.
Exactly.
It's knowing exactly what to build, who you're building it for, and why it's financially viable in the real world. Think of it like being an architect versus a bricklayer. For the last 30 years, we've told everyone they need to learn to lay bricks, to learn how to write code. This platform operates on the assumption that AI is the new bricklayer. The humans are now just drawing the blueprints.
That is a perfect analogy, and that's exactly what the EON Venture Builder is designed to facilitate. It's positioned as an end-to-end economic engine that allows someone with absolutely zero technical skills to go from having no business idea whatsoever to owning a portfolio of AI agents that generate $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And EON projects that a user can achieve this in just 90 days.
90 days from a blank slate to a revenue-generating digital portfolio. That sounds great in theory, but how does this actually work in practice? The Venture Builder is constructed on a 5-layer system. Let's start at the foundation, layer 1, which is the problem discovery engine. Because if you don't know how to code, you probably also don't know what kind of software the world actually needs.
Precisely. The problem discovery engine is an AI system that systematically scans a specific geographic area. A user punches in a zip code, a city, or a specific district. The AI then ingests a mountain of public data to figure out exactly what is broken in that community.
Let's walk through what that data ingestion actually looks like. If I punch in my own city, the system pulls municipal complaint databases to see what citizens are annoyed about. It looks at local news archives for recurring community frustrations. It scans social media sentiment, like geotagged complaints on X or local Reddit threads. It even analyzes Google Maps to find specific service categories with consistently low ratings, and checks local job boards to see what specific roles are going unfilled for months. It takes that old startup adage of finding the 30 problems between the airport and the hotel and just scales it using AI.
But it doesn't just hand the user a massive, overwhelming, raw list of complaints. It scores every single identified problem across 5 distinct dimensions.
Okay.
First is market size. How many people locally actually have this problem and how often does it occur? Second is technical feasibility. Can a software-based AI agent actually solve this, or does it require a physical hardware intervention?
And the third is financial viability, which is crucial. It calculates the unit economics. Basically, it asks, are people willing to pay enough for a solution to make the margins positive within that 90-day window after accounting for the compute costs of running the AI?
Right. Fourth is the competition gap. Is anyone else already solving this effectively in that specific local area? And the fifth dimension is where the system gets highly personalized entrepreneur match. The venture builder cross-references the validated problem with the user's specific skills, their professional background, and even their spoken languages to ensure the business is a good fit for them personally.
So it produces a ranked top 10 list of problems tailored perfectly to that individual. But even with all that validated data, starting a business from scratch is incredibly daunting.
EON seems to know this, which is why Layer 1 also includes a feature called the Problem Exchange. What exactly is that?
The Problem Exchange is a public board where organizations actually post bounties for problems they need solved immediately. A local government might post that they need a better scheduling system for rural health clinics, or an NGO might post that they need a tool to track farmer training across 200 remote villages, and they state exactly what their committed budget is.
Wait, a public bounty board? Doesn't that just create a race to the bottom where developers undercut each other's prices until no one can actually make a living? What's fascinating here is how EON mitigates that exact risk. Because the system controls the execution layer, it doesn't function like a traditional freelance marketplace where global developers bid against each other. The AI matches the bounty to local agent proprietors based on their entrepreneur match score.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it prioritizes local context and language skills over sheer cost cutting. It completely eliminates the cold start problem. You don't sit in a room brainstorming a startup idea hoping someone will pay for it. The AI hands you a pre-validated list of pain problems with committed budgets from real organizations.
So Layer 1 finds the problem. That brings us to Layer 2, which provides the starting point for the solution. EON's internal metrics reveal a really striking statistic here. They claim that 80% of local solvable problems fall into just 20 recurring categories.
That's right. Things like scheduling, inventory management, customer support, and document processing.
Only 20 categories. That seems awfully low to cover the entire global economy. What kinds of categories are we actually talking about here?
Well, it sounds low until you look at the underlying data structures. To a software engineer, a dentist's appointment booking system, a mechanic's garage scheduling system, and a restaurant's table reservation system are all fundamentally the exact same thing.
Oh, wow.
They use the same calendar logic and the same notification systems, they just have a different coat of paint.
Ah, I get it now. And to capitalize on that, Layer 2 functions as a massive library of solution templates. These are pre-architected frameworks for those 20 core categories that are already 70% complete. So when the entrepreneur selects a problem, say restaurant stock management, they don't start with a blank page. The system hands them a debug working inventory template. They just have to customize it for their local context.
Which flows seamlessly into Layer 3, the solution factory. This is the core engine of the Venture Builder. It's a 10-step journey guided by an AI mentor named Brainy. And the framework goes out of its way to emphasize that Brainy is not an open-ended chatbot.
That makes total sense because an open-ended chatbot can be completely paralyzing. If you don't know what to ask, you just stare at a blinking cursor.
Right.
Instead, the interaction model uses a generate, review, refine pattern. Brainy uses structured, stage-validated questions with tags, sliders, and drop-down menus. The AI generates the first draft of every step, and the user simply reviews and refines it. You're never facing a blank screen, but you always remain in control of the final output.
And that rigid structure is vital because of what Layer 3 ultimately produces. The absolute most important output of this entire 10-step factory is Step 6, the specification generation.
This is the real magic trick of the whole platform. Brainy translates the user's plain English conversation about their local problem into a highly detailed, machine-readable technical specification. We are talking about defined API endpoints, precise data models, and database schemas.
For those listening who aren't software engineers, an API endpoint is basically just a digital doorway that allows two different programs to talk to each other. A data schema is just a highly organized filing cabinet for information. Historically, it took years of study to learn how to build those doorways and filing cabinets correctly.
And now that generated specification is exactly what those AI coding tools like Claude Code need to instantly execute and build the software. The human being provides the what and the why, based on their local knowledge, and the AI provides the how.
Yeah.
The user never writes a single line of code, but they walk away with a custom-built, functional application deployed in a matter of days.
It fundamentally changes who gets to participate in the technology economy.
But what happens if a user gets stuck during this 10-step process? Like if I'm using the Venture Builder to create a restaurant inventory app, but actually know absolutely nothing about supply chains or stock management, wouldn't I just fail right out of the gate? I might have the tech handled by AI, but my business logic would be terrible.
You'd think so, but EON actually anticipated this with a hidden feature in the architecture, the EON XR integration, or what they call the upskilling loop. This is a massive differentiator. As the user is building their business in the solution factory, the AI is quietly analyzing their journey to identify their specific competence gaps.
So imagine you, the learner, are sitting at your desk building that restaurant app. The AI realizes you're struggling with the basic concepts of inventory management. It automatically steps in and generates 3 to 5 personalized immersive AR and VR lessons using EON's Express Lesson API, right there on the spot.
And by AR and VR, we mean augmented and virtual reality. The system generates highly visual, interactive lessons. It creates an incredible ecosystem lock-in.
Right.
It's not just giving you generic business advice to go read a book. It is instantly generating a custom mini course on supply chain fundamentals tailored entirely to the specific software you are trying to build that very week.
You are learning the exact skills you need, precisely when you need them to make your business succeed. Here's where it gets really interesting. The EON N strategy outlines a real-world vignette to show exactly what this looks like in practice. Let's meet Maria. She's a 24-year-old living in Lagos, Nigeria. 6 months ago, she entered the EON Venture Builder through a pilot program at her university.
Today, Maria owns a portfolio of 3 distinct AI agents.
Agent number 1 is a restaurant inventory manager. It serves 22 local restaurants in her specific district of Lagos, tracking stock levels and sending automated purchase orders to suppliers. That agent alone brings in $800 a month.
Agent number 2 is a clinic appointment scheduler serving 8 local health clinics. What's brilliant about this one is that it allows patients to book appointments via WhatsApp. And it operates fluently in Yoruba, Igbo, or English, depending on the patient's preference.
Wow.
It has reduced clinic no-shows by 40%, and it generates $600 a month.
And agent number 3 is a school fee tracker. It sends gentle payment reminders to parents via text and tracks collections for local school administrators. That one generates $400 a month.
So Maria is making $1,800 a month, which is a highly substantial income in Lagos. But the most profound detail in this vignette is her time commitment. She spends only 5 hours a week managing this portfolio.
5 hours.
Yeah. She mostly just checks dashboards, reviews analytics, and responds to highly escalated issues that the AI can't handle. Her AI agents do all the actual day-to-day work.
And to reiterate the core premise of this entire deep dive, Maria has never written a single line of code in her life.
She belongs to this entirely new economic class that EON is calling the agent proprietor. She doesn't write code, she doesn't manage servers, and she doesn't handle manual customer service routing. Her job is simply to identify local problems, configure the AI solutions using the Venture Builder, and manage her digital portfolio.
Which perfectly transitions us to the top 2 layers of the Venture Builder. These layers are all about scaling Maria's local success globally. Layer 4 is called Success Chains. Remember Maria's 3rd agent, the school fee tracker? The internal framework reveals a major twist here. She didn't actually invent that solution.
Right.
She licensed it from another agent proprietor living in Nairobi, Kenya.
This is where the platform's compounding network effects really kick in. The EON AI constantly monitors the financial performance of every single deployed agent across the globe. When it detects a highly successful solution, like that fee tracker in Nairobi, it automatically analyzes global market conditions. It looks for other regions with similar population density, similar income levels, and similar municipal service gaps.
And when it finds a match, like Lagos, it facilitates an automatic replication. The original creator in Nairobi can license their agent to someone like Maria, earning a 10 to 20% royalty on every transaction Maria processes. The AI handles all the complex local adaptations behind the scenes.
Exactly. It translates the interface, swaps out the payment gateways from Kenyan banking systems to Nigerian ones, and adapts the data models to local privacy regulations.
It creates a frictionless export of digital infrastructure. And that leads directly into Layer 5, the final piece of the puzzle, the EON Marketplace. This venture builder isn't some small, isolated sandbox for hobbyists. This marketplace is plugged directly into EON's existing global ecosystem of over 136 million users.
It completely flips how software is bought and sold. Think about how you buy software right now. You go to an app store and you search for a brand name, or you hunt through dozens of generic apps hoping one does what you need.
Right, it's tedious.
Buyers on the EON Marketplace don't search for apps. They just type in natural language. A restaurant owner types, "I need a way to track inventory at my restaurant." The AI instantly matches them with an agent built by an agent proprietor and deploys it over WhatsApp or SMS for a tiny fraction of what traditional custom software would cost.
This reveals EON's ultimate business model. They take a 10% transaction fee on every single sale, subscription, or bounty processed in the marketplace.
They're transforming from a standard product company into a foundational platform company. The strategy outlines their goal very clearly. They want to become the Shopify for the intelligence revolution.
Wow.
They have no interest in building these AI businesses themselves. They want to be the underlying infrastructure that allows millions of others to build them, quietly collecting a percentage of the entire ecosystem's economic output.
And to achieve that massive scale, their go-to-market strategy is intensely focused on large institutional buyers. They have multi-million-dollar packaging tiers specifically designed for universities and national governments.
The pitch they're taking to governments is particularly compelling. EON is positioning Tier 2 regional deployments at $1 million to $5 million a year. But the framing of the pitch is crucial. They walk into a government ministry and tell them, "You are not buying software."
Right. They are telling governments, you have a massive looming youth unemployment crisis because AI is displacing millions of traditional jobs. We are selling you a self-sustaining economic engine. This platform creates tax-paying microbusinesses to replace those vanishing jobs.
A government buys the platform license, the citizens become agent proprietors, local businesses get the cheap, customized tech they desperately need to modernize, and the local economy grows.
It is an incredibly potent pitch for the developing nations that are trying to navigate the automation wave without seeing their economies collapse. So what does this all mean?
Good question.
If you take a step back and look at the sheer ambition of this entire framework, the main takeaway for you, the learner, is that the future of work is not about learning to code. The days of coding as a guaranteed, safe path to the middle class are likely over. The future is learning to identify real, granular problems in your local community. It is mastering the art of the detailed specification and trusting AI to handle the complex technical execution while you manage a growing digital portfolio.
This raises an important question, though, regarding the long-term geopolitical implications of this shift.
Mhm.
If we look at the very end of the internal spec, EON details their Phase 3 strategy for the years 2029 to 2031. Their stated goal is to position the venture builder as sovereign infrastructure. They argue that access to this platform should be viewed as essential to a developing nation as physical roads, bridges, and power grids.
Right.
But think about the structural implications of that reality. If an entire country's primary engine for problem solving, new business creation, and youth employment is governed by a centralized global AI platform, a platform that autonomously decides which solutions to replicate, which templates to push, and how data is structured, who actually controls the long-term trajectory of that nation's economy? Is it the citizens building the agents, the sovereign government that bought the license, or the underlying algorithm that is ultimately optimizing for global transaction fees?
That is a staggering economic reality to consider. We are impartial here, but it's clearly a massive shift in power dynamics. The bridge between human intent and machine execution is being built right now, and it is going to restructure our local economies in ways we are only just beginning to map out. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, learner. Keep your eyes open today. Look closely at the friction and the inefficiencies in your own community. You might just spot a problem that is desperately waiting for good specification. See you next time.